Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Amy Beckley. I am a pharmacologist. I study hormones, and I am based in Denver, Colorado. So my story is a story of infertility and recurrent miscarriage. I wanted to get pregnant. I waited till I was about 30 when I had a husband and a stable career, and thought, here I am, this educated scientist who had years and years of schooling. How difficult could it be to get pregnant? Just simply go off birth control. We struggled a lot. We could get pregnant and then we would lose the pregnancy, within a few weeks of finding out we were pregnant. And I never got answers. I was pushed around by the medical system. I was told I hadn't been trying long enough. I hadn't had enough miscarriages. I wasn't old enough. And I suffered a lot. And finally, after my third miscarriage and year of trying, I was told I could go get help and a doctor would see me. And they did all the tests they possibly could. And they came out with a diagnosis of unexplained infertility, which means they had no idea why I couldn't get pregnant and stay pregnant and have a healthy pregnancy. And when that's true, the only thing that they can do to increase your chances of pregnancy is in vitro fertilization, or IVF. So that's what we did. We really wanted to be parents and we didn't want to suffer any longer. And so we made the decision to pursue IVF. We did a cycle. It was not successful. Did another cycle. It was successful. And I have a beautiful, healthy 14-year-old boy from it. And so when my son was about a year and a half old, we decided that we were going to have another child, at least try for another child. And this time I went back to my doctor's office and I said, what did we miss the first time? Why did IVF work, but working at it ourselves and trying ourselves didn't work? Like, what can we learn from this? What can we try? Because obviously there's a reason if you can't conceive. And so instead of going straight to IVF and doing this medical procedure that just optimizes fertility, we looked at it one by one and said, what could it have been? And we came across this idea of progesterone. And so when you get pregnant, your body needs to make an amount of progesterone that is needed for your uterus to house that embryo and that pregnancy for 9 months. And if you don't have enough of this hormone, you can either not get pregnant or you can lose the pregnancy or have a preterm birth. At any point, this hormone drops too much. And during the process of IVF, they give you a whole bunch of this hormone after they implant the embryo, because they know giving this hormone increases women's pregnancy chances 50% or up to 50%. So I said, well, it worked during IVF. and I have this healthy, beautiful boy. Can we just give me this medication outside of the world and context of IVF? Because it's a simple $10 generic medication, and you can separate it from the process of IVF. I said, I'd just like to try this. Maybe this will help me stay pregnant and finally have a successful pregnancy. I said, sure, why not? And I took this medication, and within 2 months, I got pregnant, and I stayed pregnant, and I now have an 11-year-old daughter. And it was a complete different experience for me. It was just struggling and lost and hopeless and not knowing what's going on, wasting precious time and our money and our sanity, when if I had just had that much information and there was tests available to help diagnose what I had, it would have been a completely different experience, just transformationally different experience. And so I decided I was going to invent it. Nobody had invented it. The technology was there in labs, and researchers had used it. There just was no commercial product for being able to test your progesterone levels at home. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to at least try. I've gone through so much to build my family. I've learned so much. I have so much knowledge that I want to at least try. I want to at least create a product and an educational series of information for women to empower them with this information, so that if I could somehow prevent other women, other couples from going through this, I had to at least try it. So we ordered some stuff off the internet, and it came, and we did some experiments, and it worked. And we raised about $40,000 via crowdfunding and launched the test, just a very, very basic stripped down version. And basically what the test would do is it is a simple urine-based test, so like a pregnancy test, but it measures a different hormone. And so you track your cycle, and on certain days you will test for what we call PDG, or pregnanedallylgluconoride. Very fancy name, but all it is the urine metabolite of progesterone. And what we're doing is we're tracking it to make sure you're making a healthy level for a long enough period of time. And so most women will make some of this hormone, but they won't make enough of the hormone. And it's actually becoming an epidemic of women who are a little bit older, waiting longer to conceive. They have PCOS, endometriosis, some type of condition, so many plastics and toxins and environmental stressors out there. We're working mothers. We're not, just stay at home. We just have so many things going on that a lot of women are deficient in progesterone. And so our company, our product, it's not just to help women get pregnant, but it's to understand their body on a much higher level. 95% of women will have some type of hormonal issue throughout their lifetime, but there are no really good diagnostic tests that doctors do inside their clinics to help you understand hormones, because hormones go like this. They go up, they go down, they fluctuate. It's very, very hard to go in and get any valuable information from a single blood draw. And so by taking it and making a urine-based test that's non-invasive, and you can do at home, and you can do daily or weekly, and you can build the hormone profiles as they go up and down, you can start understanding your menstrual cycle and if it's optimal or not optimal, if it looks like what you're seeing in textbooks or it's not. Does it help explain your mood swings, your inability to sleep? You wake up at 2:30 in the morning and you're like, why am I awake? Heavy periods, painful periods, lack of periods, facial hair, weight around the middle. So many symptoms that women have are really due to hormone imbalances that we haven't been able to properly diagnose. And if you can't properly diagnose, it's really, really hard to treat. And so women are going through their entire life thinking their menstrual cycle is, a time of fear and panic and pain when it shouldn't be. We should be able to monitor hormones, look at the cycle, and understand if we're in normal optimal range or if we're not. And then how do we get back in balance? So many women are leaving the workforce in their 40s when they're at their prime and they've built, their careers because they physically can't handle the emotional and the physical toll of work because their hormones are declining. So we've built Proof to be that company that helps you analyze hormones and optimize them from first period to last.
Amy, it's incredible what you did with your own personal trauma. I know infertility is a very, very difficult thing for any woman, just that striving to have a baby and not have a baby. And now you've gone into creating this technology that makes it so easy for women to be able to do this at home. Now, what was the process of developing your at-home hormone testing system, and how did you ensure accuracy and accessibility?
Yeah, so we did lab tests. We read all the literature out there and said, okay, this is a lab test that people have been using inside, diagnostic hospitals and research institutions for years. How do we bring this technology out for women to use on a daily basis? And so we took that core technology. We found a manufacturer here in the US, and we made them. And then we basically gave these products to women and had them use it to make sure that it was the right product. And we just kind of, iterated and changed till it was the right product. There was a big need for it. And so women just leaned in and they're like, yes, I'd love to help you. What can I do? I'll send you pictures of my pee sticks. I'll do whatever you want. Like, we need to have this technology. So it was really, amazing to see the community kind of jump in and help us really crowd develop a product. And most products like this come from medical professionals. This came from women themselves saying, we need this.
It's just incredible. So getting FDA clearance of your product was a significant milestone. What were the biggest challenges in achieving this, and how did you overcome them?
Yes. So the FDA clearance process is very difficult. They want to make sure your test is accurate and reproducible and easy to understand by women. And the most difficult part was trying to help the FDA understand that women needed this information. Yes. And that women could understand and handle this information. So a lot of times there's this kind of give and take relationship between consumers and medical professionals, where in order to get a technology like this into the hands of women, you have to tell the FDA they don't need a medical degree, they don't need a PhD, they just need to know how to read English or whatever language you have, your instructions in. It's super easy, straightforward to do, easy to understand. So we had to do a lot to really make it so understandable and easy to follow, which, is hard because women don't really get education about their hormones or their menstrual cycles as a part of normal schooling. So that was the hardest part, was to make it easy to understand for women in a world where we just don't get that education.
Wow. So many women struggle to find answers to their hormone health concerns. How does your product fill the gap in traditional healthcare?
Yeah, so traditional healthcare, it's okay, go to the office, do a blood test, we can measure these things. And really what you're getting is what's happening on that particular moment in time, which is important. But if something's constantly changing, so think about glucose. Glucose constantly goes up and down when you eat or sleep or exercise. The same thing was going on with your hormones. Each day it follows a different pattern. And so without the ability to test multiple times, go to a clinic, get a blood draw every single day, it was almost impossible to get this information out. And so by creating a urine-based system that can be done at home, you just simply pee in a cup every morning, dip a strip, and you have this information. And so that was really the biggest kind of unlock into women's health, was making it accessible for everybody and not something that they had to go schedule a bunch of appointments, miss work, needles poked.
Oh, yeah, it can be quite traumatic in that sense. Now, why do you think there is such a lack of education about hormones and cycles in schools and healthcare systems? And what can be done to change this?
Yeah, I think there's a lack of education because we don't know very much about it. So you can't really teach unless you know enough
Mhm.
about it. And if we haven't had the right resources to study these things, then it's almost impossible to teach. And so hormones, menopause transitions, hormone imbalance, it's actually questionable whether that's actually a medical term of hormone imbalance.
Mm,
There's a kind of a debate going on. Medical doctors don't get the education because there's no education to be given.
yes.
So we need to create more tools, more research. We need to change the curriculum. I mean, I was talking to my son the other day and my daughter, and he says, "I know where the nucleus of the cell is," and my daughter says, "I don't know what a menstrual cycle is." So something that's going to affect her every single day life for
Yeah.
40 years, she's knows nothing about. But unless they're getting this other knowledge, and so I think we need to kind of shift what's important and what's really going to affect people as they grow.
Yes. Yeah. This is knowledge that you need every day. Now, as a female founder in a health tech space, what unique challenges have you faced, particularly in securing funding?
I mean, it's extremely difficult. Funding goes to mostly males. Less than 3% of all venture funding goes to females. Most of the funding in women's health actually goes to male founders, to be
Right.
quite honest. And it's kind of crazy because women businesses are more successful and they're more profitable than male businesses in a lot
Mhm.
of different metrics. And so it's not like we haven't proven ourselves or we're not capable of it.
Mm, mm.
But it's just a challenging kind of environment to raise funding in. Yeah, I mean, I think all we can do is really tell the right story and the right truth and help women understand why they're feeling such a way. They don't have to feel a certain way. And if you teach somebody something so valuable, they'll appreciate you and they'll go tell a friend who wants to come learn, and you grow it that way. So we've always just wanted to do best by the woman, provide the most accurate advice and education to move them forward. And it's worked so far. Women are just so happy to get this information. They had no idea. They're feeling better. They're getting pregnant. They're just,
Mm.
very, very thankful. So we just have to do the best we can.
And women are good at spreading good news word of mouth. So that's a really effective system. So, what has been the most rewarding feedback that you've received from women using your product?
So we have a thing at Prove where if we've helped you get pregnant and you let us know, we'll
Right.
send you a Prove onesie for the baby when they come. It
Oh,
just says, "I proved miracles do happen." And, I do it selfishly because it's hard to grow a business and do all these things. Getting
yes.
that beautiful picture of that baby wearing that onesie is just, it makes it all worth it. It's just so amazing. So that's my favorite part is, getting a picture, seeing somebody post it on socials or sending it through email. I just love it.
So, beyond fertility and menopause, do you see potential for expanding your diagnostic tools to address other areas in women's health?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Most women at some point in their life are going to have a hormone issue or a period issue, something, they don't know if it's their hormones. They want to check their hormones. PCOS is so common. 1 out of 10 women have PCOS. Endometriosis is all really common. 1 out of 10 women have that. Menopause and hormone decline starts at age 35. and it
Mm,
affects their work, their ability to be a wife and a mother, everything else
mm.
that they're doing. And so women are very curious, and it's across their whole life that they just want to feel good and understand and be able to correct if they don't feel good.
So, how can women start taking control of their hormonal health even before turning to products like yours?
I mean, education, resources. I always say that you should have a doctor that listens to you and
Mm,
is your provider. They are providing a service for you that you're paying for, and so you should find a safe space, some practitioner, doctor, nurse, whoever that is actively listening and educating and helping you through it. And if you don't have that relationship, go find a different one.
mm,
It is life changing when you have a medical professional that is there to truly support you and to listen to you and to try things and to really think outside the box and come with research and all those other things. But yeah, you got to start with education. The best use of that, 5 2 minute time period you have with that medical professional is when you're knowledgeable about you and your body, and then you can ask the right questions and he can give you his medical knowledge back and you can get to a better solution.
yeah, without the knowledge, you're really quite vulnerable.
Yeah, I like to call it like when a female mostly goes to the car mechanic place and they go, well, we looked at it and you need a whole new engine, this and that, like it'll be $12,000. I
Yes.
don't know anything about cars. I don't know if he's telling the truth, if he's lying. He could be like, I'm need to make my rent today and I need to make $12,000. I'm just going to charge this woman. I don't know. I'm not saying that they do that, but you don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So everyone has their own motive for doing certain things. You want to think that it's always good motives, but you don't know if they have some payment coming up or whatever. The person that's the most motivated, invested in you is
It's
you.
you. Yeah, that's so true.
So you got to start there.
So, what's next for your business and your mission to empower women through hormonal health awareness?
Yeah, we started as a testing company to really help you understand and analyze hormones. And we're
Mm,
moving more into providing solutions and optimizations. So different supplements and products and medical help that, gets directly connected. So you want to get you the right treatment, the right solution at the right time that's personalized to where you're at that point in your journey. Because at the end
yes.
of the day, testing is a starting point. You really want to get to that solution. It's how am I going to feel best the fastest? How am I going to get pregnant the fastest? And so we want to be that solution as well. We don't want to just be a testing platform.
Now, looking back at your journey, what advice would you give other women navigating that intersection of personal challenges and professional aspirations? Because what you've done is really absolutely amazing.
You got to really love it. I mean, it's a roller coaster of goods and bads, ups and downs. You do take a significant portion of time away from your family.
Mm,
And so you got to go in it as a team. You got to say to your husband, look, I got to do this. We're going to divide this stuff up. You got to say to your kids, hey, I got to work here, but we're going to go make up for it over there or whatever. But it's got to be a family decision. And you got to be really passionate about it because there's a lot of times you want to give up. It's so hard. But again, those positive stories, the babies in their onesies, like that really just makes it so incredible. Even teaching women and their eyes lit up, they're like, what? That's
yeah,
crazy.
that's just amazing. Now, my last two questions are a bit of a thought experiment. In the first one, we're going to time travel into the past and we're going to go and meet the younger you, that young woman who was going through this infertility journey, starting to feel despair, despondent, not even sure if she's going to be able to have a baby. Just in case there is somebody who is listening to this podcast right now, If you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what would those three nuggets of wisdom be?
So the first nugget of wisdom would be to not focus on what you can't control and to find something that you can. It's huge black box of getting pregnant. There's 99 different things that can go wrong, and you just can't see it, and you just feel lost, not in control. And so taking pieces one at a time, say, hey, I'm eating out of plastic. I'm going to remove the plastic, start using glass. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to control the things I can control and forget about the ones I can't control. So really trying to change your mindset to be as positive and proactive as you can, and try to discount the stuff that you can't change. The second one is don't take no for an answer. I was constantly told you hadn't been trying long enough, you haven't had enough miscarriages, and I was just going to the wrong place. I was in traditional healthcare, and my insurance wouldn't cover things until I had 3 miscarriages and had been trying 12 months. But if I had known about alternative providers like fertility coaches or acupuncturists or other, naturopathic physicians that could have helped me, and they wouldn't have turned me away. They could have actually helped me naturally increase progesterone, and I could have gotten pregnant without IVF. But I just went this blinders traditional medicine, and, I felt stuck. So don't take no for an answer. And the third one is really find your tribe, your community. Most women don't like to talk about trying to conceive when they're not able to conceive. They don't like to tell their family, their friends. Find some different friends or some internet friends or anything, because you need a community. You need someone to talk to. You need a way to vent and to celebrate wins, and maybe, hold each other's hands through the losses, either virtually or in person. But find someone to talk to. It's so isolating and alone, but you're not alone. Like 1 out of 4 couples deals with infertility. So it's very, very common. And once you do come out of the closet and say, I've been dealing with this, you'll see so many other people are also dealing with it. So try to find that community to support yourself, because they're out there and you need them, and it's going to help you, and it's going to go a long way.
Absolutely fantastic advice. Last question, I will teleport you into the future. And we're going to go and travel and have a conversation with the 90-year-old you. With science and technology, you'll probably live until 120, but let's stop at 90. And you're going to go and sit with this wise woman who has led you up until this point, who's helped thousands of women have their babies. If I teleport you into the future to have a conversation with this wise woman, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
I would be proud. I always want to just do the right thing and provide the right information and resources and help as many people as I possibly can. And so to be honest and truthful and not sugarcoat things, that is so valuable. You don't really get that very often, where you have a knowledgeable person that truly just wants to share knowledge. And I would feel very proud to just sit there and know that I helped those people and they wouldn't have been able to do what they did without us, without our technology. And they were to advocate, and we've helped build families, and we've helped build relationships where, this infertility is super stressful. Hormone imbalance is super stressful. It ruins marriages, relationships. And so if we can get people past this with just knowledge, it's so empowering. So I would just be so honored to just sit there.
Thank you, Amy. I love asking women that question, because a lot of times most women don't trust that little voice in their heads that little voice that told you to do something about this, create a company, go left, go right. We look outside of ourselves for solutions most of the time, and we forget to go within. So thank you for trusting your promptings and bringing this technology to the world. Without you trusting that inner voice, this would not have existed. So on behalf of all of those women who will get access to your knowledge, your technology, thank you. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We are a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, to empower you with knowledge, to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. So if you know another woman who is struggling with infertility, the website is at the bottom of the screen. Please share this video, share this knowledge and this technology. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And Amy, thanks again for the interview. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.